StartupHakk. My name is Spencer Thomason, and here at StartupHakk, we love to train software developers and build custom software solutions. So I do a lot of work as a fractional CTO. With over a decade of executive leadership and a solid 25 years in software development, I've mastered the art of transforming technology, teams, and products. So today we're going to dive into a fascinating story about the origins of Facebook, the controversies surrounding its creation, and some unexpected outcomes, as well as some lessons that we might learn along the way. This is just for fun one. I'm going to have some fun with it tonight, and so we'll dive into this one. Okay, so I'm doing lives here at night. I do them in the morning every morning, so make sure you sign in. A funny thing about my viewer base is apparently y'all are morning birds, or either, I don't know. They're definitely not evening night owls here. Share my screen here. These are my analytics here, and I'm in Phoenix, Arizona, so you can see that I'm, but if you look here at this, and so GMT -7, right? So I'll blow this up a little bigger. Apparently y'all only really like my channel during the day, because apparently you watch kind of starting around 4 a.m., so I'm guessing that's the Eastern folks that are grabbing this. But pretty much y'all cut out at noon. So y'all are YouTube junkies in the morning, and you don't really much watch in the afternoon. These lives are more for me, I guess, than for anybody. So I have fun with these lives in the evening. Maybe we'll see if we can skew this chart a little bit. I don't know. We'll see if we do. And if we don't, then you guys can catch them later, I guess. But I'm going to do these because I think they'll be fun. So what I'm talking about today is we're going to dive into a fun story that talks about, it talks about the starting of Facebook. Now, everybody's enamored by Facebook. Obviously, if you've seen Social Network, if you haven't, then I don't know what rock you've been under. I think Social Network is definitely a movie that has some facts based in fiction with a lot of creative liberty given to it. But we're going to talk a little bit about how Facebook started off, and more than anything, some lessons learned. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about the Winklevoss twins, right? Now, the Winklevoss twins, they don't play a huge role in the Social Network. They play a little bit, but the Winklevoss twins, I think, kind of they, make the character. I'll pull up some pictures of them here. The Winklevoss twins kind of, play a character. I think that largely is, I just totally blanked. Garfield plays, and so I think they kind of wove that into a lot of his character, some of this. But these are the Winklevoss twins here. These are some guys that we're going to talk a little bit about how they helped start Facebook and what their role was in it, right? You see them here with their Harvard rowing shirts on, and, kind of talk about this, right? Now, I'm not going to feel too sad for them. They definitely walked away with plenty of money, and somehow in all of this, everybody seems to have walked away with more than enough money. But let's dive into a little bit about this story. So, story begins at Harvard University, where Mark Zuckerberg, along with the Winklevoss twins, was part of a project called Harvard Connect, which was later rebranded to Connect You. The Winklevoss twins and Narendra claimed that Zuckerberg stole their idea to create Facebook. This accusation led to a legal battle that would last for years. And so really Garfield's character is kind of loosely based on both of these two characters, I think. Accusation led to a legal battle last for years. Despite the controversy, Facebook went on to become one of the most influential social media platforms globally, and that still happens today. So understanding the origins of such a tech giant can provide some valuable insights into dynamics of innovation and competition. Starting a startup is not simple, and working with founders is a huge part of that, and this is a fun lesson for that. So it's a reminder to protect intellectual property, maintain ethical standards, and also watch collaboration on projects. So the Winklevoss twins and Divya Narendra filed a lawsuit against Zuckerberg alleging that he had breached an oral contract and stolen their idea. The legal battle was intense and highly publicized, shedding light on the darker side of the tech industry. In 2008, the dispute was settled for $65 million in cash and some Facebook shares. Now, at the time, the Facebook shares wasn't really worth a ton, but now they're worth a ton, right? So while the settlement seemed significant at the time, the subsequent rise in Facebook's valuation made the shares far more profitable. This case highlights the importance of legal agreements and clear communications in collaborative endeavors. For developers and for startup founders, it underscores the necessity of protecting one's contributions through proper documentation and legal channels. I've talked with a lot of startup founders along the way, And it's really difficult because a lot of businesses are started by friends, right? A lot of time friends get together and start businesses, and those are super uncomfortable conversations to really talk about what percent people are worth in a project, because it's hard to not make that conversation personal. Now, so but you got to do it. The lesson here is you absolutely got to do it. If you don't put things into stone, don't put things into writing, this is how these things end up. So, despite feeling wrong, the Winklevoss twins and Narendra leveraged their settlement wisely. The Facebook shares they received in the settlement skyrocketed in value as Facebook grew. Today, the Winklevoss twins are both billionaires thanks to their savvy investments, because they went on to take this and invest it very wisely. And that's really kind of the big lesson there, is like, rather than just getting really sour, what they really did do was dive in and then go use it for other things. And so, I mean, it's hard to feel too hard for somebody, sympathy for too much for somebody who gets 65 million. And probably, I don't know how much their shares were worth then, but now they're worth tons. But they really started to dive into cryptocurrency. They're really big into cryptocurrency, and their story is a testament to the power of resilience, strategic financial planning, and not holding a grudge at the end of the day. So we want to make sure that we're looking at the bigger picture and turning setbacks into opportunities. I'm a huge believer in this. Take things that might look like a setback. They could have sat there and said, woe is us, we lost out on all this stuff from Facebook, and instead they just adapted and moved on. So the ability to adapt and find new avenues for success is crucial in this fast-paced tech industry. Now, the Facebook saga offers several lessons in innovation competition. It shows how fierce competition can drive innovation, but also how it can lead to ethical dilemmas. The Winklevoss twins and Narendra's experience serves as a cautionary tale about the importance of trust and transparency in collaborative projects. Now, one key takeaway from this story is the importance of legal protections. The initial lack of a formal agreement between Zuckerberg and the Winklevoss twins left room for dispute, and so legal protections such as contracts or patents less so, but more about contracts. Even a loosely written contract goes a long ways to save you a ton of headache down the road. So proper legal documentation, and proper is good, but even something you pulled just out of ChatGPT at this point can go on to really help you later down the road. So, and you can avoid some of these legal disputes. Now, ethical dilemmas are common in the tech industry, as we see in the Facebook case, right? And so Zuckerberg's actions raise questions about the ethical behavior in business. Now, Zuckerberg's done a lot of things that people have questioned throughout the years. There's definitely no doubt he is a colorful character in all of this. And so you want to make sure that when you navigate these dilemmas, you use a good, strong moral compass. And I believe that good things come to those who ultimately stay to being true. Now, I know that Zuckerberg's still the one holding Facebook at the end of the day, but honestly, you might argue the Winklevoss ended up in a better position. They've gotten to have a lot more of different experiences. Now, if you're looking for fame and glory and you want to be at the top, obviously that's kind of where Zuckerberg has been. But for developers, ethical considerations should be at the forefront of their work. Making ethical decisions can build trust and credibility, and I think that's honestly, at the end of the day, a lot more important than just being the powerful at the top. So now, the ability to adapt to changing circumstances is a valuable skill demonstrated by the Winklevoss twins and Narendra. After their initial setback, they pivoted to a new opportunity such as cryptocurrency, which significantly increased their wealth. So adaptability is really important for developers, and you want to make sure you stay open to new ideas, new trends, and things in the market. So also, you want to make sure you're doing strategic financial planning, and it played a significant role for the Winklevoss twins in their journey to become millionaires. They could have just taken their Facebook shares, cashed in, gone and bought some lavish stuff, blown it over a few years, and been done. But I think it's wise that their investments in the Facebook shares and their subsequent ventures in cryptocurrencies were calculated moves that obviously paid off. So, when's the best time to plant a tree? Yesterday, right? Make those, become financially literate, make strategic plans, and especially since developers, which is the crowd that I'm talking to here, developers are making 2.5 times the average U.S. worker. So that means generally you should all have a little bit more money moving through. Now, I know this is a hard economy. I get all of that. But at the same time, I could promise you we'll never forget. I was just discussing with my son today when he was grumpy at me that I was making him on, he earns his money and I have him invest half of it. And it's funny because he kind of is acting like I was stealing his money. And I'm like, son, I promise you will thank me for this later. So for you developers out there, make sure you understand finances and make informed investment decisions that can improve financial security and growth. I'm actually a firm believer in diversifying across both. Make sure that you're investing in things that to keep you financially stable, but also invest a portion to be able to grow. I'm not saying risky, but growth, right? So, public perception plays a significant role in the Facebook saga, right? The media coverage of the legal battle and portrayal of both parties involved influence public opinion. Managing public perception and maintaining a positive image is crucial in the tech industry. For developers, this is really important in building your own strong personal brand and maintaining a positive reputation that you can have a significant career benefits. I know that I have retraced back, and especially in a tough economy like this, who you know is so important. So having done good work, being honest, and having that reputation is critical when you're going out to try to get another job. And especially as you're able to then go out and leverage these connections and talk with former employers. I know there's been multiple times where, so when I started Clean Technology, I started with another individual who had actually been my boss. But then as we started Clean Technology, it became obvious in the natural roles really quick that we kind of needed to reverse that role. And I became CEO and he became CTO. And it was just kind of how the natural roles went. And then later, we've gone back and forth in different ways in our careers. So just, sometimes you're the employee, sometimes you're the manager. We all play different roles. So, but that perception and that public image is really important, that you always want to make sure that you're maintaining. Burning bridges is never a good idea, even in the worst situation. Even if you just had the most miserable layoff because of somebody else's fault or whatever, burning that bridge never helps. It never pays off, I promise. So keep that public perception, because later the tech community is actually pretty small. So persistence is a key theme through the story of the Zuckerberg and the Winklevoss twins, right? Despite setbacks and controversies, they persisted in their respective endeavors, leading to significant success. So be persistent, be resilient. These are critical as employed developers. It's critical if you're unemployed. But for developers who are facing challenges and setback, face them with determination and perseverance, and it can lead to growth and success. The ability to persist in the face of adversity is often what separates successful individuals from the rest. And I'm going to kind of lead that off into a kind of a different set of thoughts here that I would like to track to you with. So I've been thinking about this, and I was listening to a podcast recently, and the person said, things are always working for you, and are always working, right? So they're always working. And this goes to the persistence, right? And in talking to entrepreneurs and in software developers, so it's always working. It's either working for you or it's working on you. I want you to think about that for a second, because it's always working. It's either for you or working on you. So if something hard's happened, just say, hey, okay, cool. What am I going to learn from this? And start to move on, build on it. If it was something you did wrong, admit the mistake, correct it, and then just never make that mistake again. Now it's a strength, right? So it's even, or if it's working for you, it means you did something, that thing went right, and you're moving on, right? So look at everything that way, and it's not just about being like, oh, happy-go-lucky, and be like, well, I can be an idiot, make a mistake every single day. Obviously, our goal is to try to be successful in everything that we do, and success does not always mean affluence. I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about being successful in what you do. One of the most important successes, I feel, is the time and energy I put into my children. Obviously, I'm not getting paid for that. But by seeing them grow and becoming productive humans, that's very rewarding to me. So I don't really care whether this is talking about a project you're building. I don't care if it's just that you're learning to code. I had a really good, my cousin is really good at this, so shout out to Luke out there. My cousin's really good at this. I was telling him about all the stuff that I was doing, and I was telling him about all my failed projects that were going on. And I always have 4 or 5 failed projects. That's very not uncommon for me. And it was funny because I was like, yeah, but they aren't really amounting to anything. He was like, so? You did them. Like, that's amazing. And so, sometimes, and that leads me to my next point. Sometimes, so always consistent small steps will beat out inconsistent big moves. I see these people who come up with these grand plans and they do this amazing sprint and they'll do all this stuff for like a week and then they don't do anything. Whereas instead, if you just do one little small piece of it every single day And this is true for like learning to code. If you want to become a better developer, here at StartupHakk, we love to train software developers. So make sure you like and subscribe to the channel because we give you a ton of free code samples. And you can use these, and if you go watch these every day, we have 500 of them. How long do you think it's going to take you to go through 500 of these, right? But I promise that if you watch these, you'll become a better developer. And so if you do those little bits of things every single day, now I'm not telling you to go watch 500 videos in one day. I'm not even telling you to watch 500 videos in a week. Go watch one a day and commit to making one a day, and you'll be shocked within a month how much better of a developer you become, right? So be consistent on those little boring steps, and I think you can continue to get better and better as you move on. So those are kind of my words of wisdom today. Likely I'm probably just kind of talking to myself a little bit here in these evening podcasts. Hopefully there's something that you guys come back and watch later. But I know that this story is kind of an interesting one for me because the story of persistence in the Winklevoss twins, like they could have gotten bitter, and obviously they were probably a little bitter if they were like filing this huge lawsuit and everything. But ultimately they took what they got, and they walked away and made it into another success. So what are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you disagree? I love having great, healthy discussions. My whole podcast this morning was off of something that one of my friends commented on. And by friends, I mean my listeners, you guys out there. He commented, gave me a bunch of stuff, and I went through it all live this morning, and it was a great podcast. Leave your comments. I love to have a great discussion with you guys. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel because we do bring you a lot of really good, valuable content. We really try to bring you really good content that you can work with, and again, to try to help train you to become a better software developer. Here at StartupHakk, we love to train software developers in our coding boot camps, and we love to build custom software solutions for companies. So reach out because we would love to help. Hit us up in the links down below or go to startuphakk.com today. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel because we bring you lots of great tutorials and tips that every developer should know. See you next time.